We're going to continue with chapter 17 to 20. The resistance base hummed with cautious activity. Trust was precious and fragile. Ace, his towering bear form, tense and alert, paced through the corridors alongside Poe and Finn. Sabotage had reached their ears. Someone was working for the First Order. Hidden amongst them, Poe's eyes narrowed. We can't afford a leak. Not now. Ace's growl rumbled low, muscles coiling beneath his fur and armor. I will find them. I'll find them and let them warn them that nobody harms my son or the resistance. Late that night, in the dim lit hallways, Ace's keen senses picked up a subtle disturbance, a sound, a shadow, where there shouldn't be one. He stalked silently, every step measured and silent, despite his size. Around the corner, he caught movement. A figure attempting to access the base's comms. With a swift, decisive motion, Ace blocked the corridor, growling a warning. The figure froze, revealing herself as the Resistance technician. Why? Poe demanded, arriving moments later with the squad. Cheers streamed. The technician confused. She had been concerned by the First Order, the family's safety. Ace's growl softened slightly, but his stance remained firm. You choose the Resistance now, Ace said. Help us stop the First Order and protect. The technician nodded with relief, flying her eyes. Together, they had to stop a threat from within, but the war was far from over. Shadows were deep, and the Great Bear would be their shield. Chapter 18, A Chance at Redemption. The cold metal walls of the Resistance base seemed quieter now, but not at ease. The technician who had once betrayed them, a young woman named Reelin, sat under the briefing room, her hands trembling slightly as she stared down at the data pad before choosing to help the Resistance now. But trust was not easily won. Ace entered, his massive bear form shadowing the doorway. The moment he stepped in, the whole room fell silent. Reelin looked up, fear flashing in her eyes. But Ace didn't roar or growl. He simply sat down across from her, his great amber eyes calm and heavy with under. You were afraid, he said, his growling voice quiet, but now you fight with us. She swallowed hard, nodding. I didn't want to betray anyone. They threatened my family. And that's what the First Order is capable of. I want them to stop it. I want to stop them. I want to make this right. Ace leaned forward slightly, then show us. Help us strike back. Finn enters the room next to the data pad in hand. She's already decrypted a part of the stolen transmission. They're planning a supply raid. One we might be able to intercept. Poe nodded from the door. If she's right, we'll stop them and save dozens of Resistance in the outer rim. Reelin looked around the room. Let me help. Let me earn this. Ace gave a deep, approving rumble. You will, he said. But not just for us, for the ones you love. He glanced down towards the hallway where Rowan slept. His own reasons for fighting. The Resistance gathered later in the evening for a mission briefing. And first, beside him, not watched, shackled, but accepted. The war was far from over. But Tonight, someone chooses the right side, and the great bear stood beside her. Chapter 19. Ambush in the Void. Lucian's ship streaked through hyperspace, silent except for the low hum. Inside the drop bay, fighters checked the gear, Post dropping into the cockpit of his, double-check the coordinates. Ray focused, meditating quietly. Ace loomed over, calm and armored. The great bear was ready for battle. Leland stood beside the control panel, the tension in her body visible. This was the first and her chance at redemption. She had supplied the coordinates and the plan relied on her being right. If this works, Post said over comms, we'll cut off their supply line and make them wish they never pushed into Resistance territory. Ace grunted, his low growl translating to, then, let's end it before it begins. The moment they dropped out of hyperspace, the enemy was already there. A first-order freighter loomed above a moon in the Kodia system, escorted by 2 squadron fighters and a pair of sleek black transport. They're early, Ray said, igniting her saber. Good. So are we. The Resistance sprung into motion. Post X-Wing dove into formation, blasters lighting, and Finn led ground troops towards landing phase, while Ace was deployed directly using magnetic boots. With a thunderous roar, Ace leapt from the transport and tore open an access hatch, storming the cargo hold like a beast unleashed. First order troopers fired in panic, but Ace was faster. His growls echoed through. He shielded his squad and cleared any way forward. Reelan, back in the command ship, infiltrating flawlessly. 2 floors down. The cargo vault is on the left, she instructed through the comms. Be fast and preparing to jump. Ray and Finn breached the bridge. Poe disabled the hyperdrive. Ace charged in. The stacked high weapons, food, fuel, enough to supply an entire resistance sectors. One last squad of stormtroopers stood between him and the vault. Ace growled deeply. This ends now. With a thunderous swipe, he sent them flying. They smashed the control panel, locking in the resistance, stormed in behind them. Minutes later, the battle was over. The first order freighter was captured. The resistance had won. Back aboard the base, Leland watched Ace gently lift a ration pack from the hull. Medic preparing supplies for war orphans. You did good, Finn told her, patting her shoulder. She looked at Ace, blooded, tired, but still standing. And she knew she had found her place. Chapter 20. Night fell across distant space, blanketing the metal corridors in soft blue shadows. The day had passed. The battle won. The freighter was secure. Supplies were being those needed across the outer rim. But for Ace, the only victory that mattered tonight slept in his arms. Rowan, the infant, was curled against the broad chest of the great bear, wrapped in a small blanket. The warmth of warmth and home. Ace sat cross-legged in a quiet chamber, far from the noise. He had removed the Mandalorian armor plating from his shoulders and arms, revealing scarred fur. His giant paw gently stroked Rowan's back, and the motion rhythmic, steady. Rowan shifted slightly in his sleep, murmuring a sleepy sound. Ace lowered his snout, a comforting growl, deep, calm, almost like a lullaby, the baby settled immediately. I fought for him today, Ace murmured softly to no one. Not because of the resistance, because he needs a future. The war had taken everything from Ace, his humanity, his brother, his identity. But the curse had set him free from the Empire's chains. But Rowan had given something more powerful, a purpose. He looked down at the infant's peaceful face, and for the first time, what felt like an ages, a light inside him dimmed. It was in its place was something gentle, stronger, love. Rowan stirred again, eyes fluttering open. He looked at the bear that held him, eyes wide, still, waking. Then he smiled. Ace froze. His breath caught. A low rumble. Broke. Rumble rose as he lowered his head until his snout brushed Rowan's hair. I'm here, little one, he growled softly. I'm not going anywhere. Outside, the galaxy burned and struggled. But in this room, for one night, there was peace. Rowan, and the bear who had protected him, was no longer just a warrior or a curse. He was a father. Alright. So that's the end of the chapter. So now, when we get to chapter 21, we're finally going to... Now, we're getting to the plot twist point where someone else, another sibling of Ace, had survived.